on the clock.
You are.
Yeah.
Speaking of on the clock, hello and welcome to the Brit Iron podcast, draft day edition. I think we can we'll call it. Well, actually, mock draft day edition. We're back with a bang after a bit of time off.
Yeah,
let things settle.
Enjoying the off season. I think if all the players get a bit of time off, we should get a bit of time off as well.
Yeah. That's what we'll keep telling ourselves.
We'll go with that.
But
it wasn't just our actual jobs getting in the way entirely.
Life happens.
Life is very.
There is no off season.
No, that is true. No off season in the NFL.
If only we got paid millions of dollars and could take 4 months of the year off, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh God.
Anyone want to sponsor us?
Yeah, please.
Please.
Speaking of sponsors,
Yeah.
well, with partnership, UKTouchdown.com. It's a great source of signed NFL and college memorabilia based in the UK. Everything is fully JSA verified.
Love that.
So you know exactly what you're getting for your money. Brilliant website.
Go
really
check
cool
them out. Stuff on there.
There is,
taking a look at.
Yeah, UKTouchdown.com. Go check them out. But today's episode, boys, we're going to run through our mock draft. So
It's been a contentious one.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of back and forth, and it's what we've reached as a middle ground, I think, of what we all think will happen.
So yeah, what we've done,
We'll see.
what we've done is we've sat down for 2 hours before recording this and taken the draft order as it stands today, not considering any potential trades up or down that may happen.
Yep.
Because I know there's a few in there that we definitely thought could move. A few names in there, which I'm sure we'll mention as we pick them. And we've just gone through and just listed off the players that we think will go at those points.
I think it's quite impressive that we have managed to come to a consensus ranking.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a couple spots that I thought could have gone on for hours debating over things, but I thought we did a relatively good job of coming
I
up
think
with
I just
something.
decided on a few to just go
It's
short.
just not worth it.
Like, when it gets
Yeah.
to draft night, get our reactions going, we'll have our individual drafts, we'll be scoring. Then we'll see who's right in those debates. There's no point arguing it this morning.
For now, on a Sunday morning, no point spending 4 hours debating.
Not worth it.
Not worth it, not on Sunday. Not with work tomorrow and that. So I guess let's just jump straight into things and kick off with number one.
Maybe the most unknown,
Yeah.
undecided pick ever.
Yeah, it
Who's
took us
gonna
hours
be?
to figure out where this is going to go.
Trey Lawrence, number one.
Imagine.
No, Trevor Lawrence, number one. QB out of Clemson. Consensus, number one. Generational talent.
It's the same as
Say
Joe
no more.
Burrow last year. He's already got the playbook from all reports.
Yeah,
He's
I
going
mean,
there.
yeah.
He's
He's
tweeted
going.
a few things
Pretty
about
sure
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville fans are already buying him wedding presents and
Yep.
stuff, so
Yeah.
he's locked in. I don't think there's much we can argue over that one.
No, we can
Not at all.
try our best, but Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars, number one pick.
Now, the Jets, an interesting one. I think back a few months ago, maybe at the start of this off-season, but I think by now we all know. I think it's become quite clear who their guy is going to be, and that is Zach Wilson at BYU. Obviously quarterback. Darnold's been shipped out. It's obvious what they're doing, and I think it makes sense to go with this guy. I think the upside that's there is Mahomes-esque.
Yeah.
We'll just have to see if he can achieve it.
Yeah, I have fears with Zach Wilson that he could kind of become a Trubisky kind of guy. You know, one of those guys who has one good year in college, and then after the season with a good pro day and stuff like that, his stock really rises. But again, for me, I think there are a couple of quarterbacks left on the board at this point that are better. But all things sound like the Jets are locked into Zach Wilson, so I think that is what they're going to be doing.
I was going to say, initially we sort of went, Justin Fields, number two. And then we took a step back and was like, actually, wait a minute. What are the things coming out of the Jets right now? And Zach Wilson seems to be the consensus.
I think the only way I think that they might be playing this is it just sort of a smoke screen. They're putting out everything so everyone thinks it's Zach Wilson. They then go maybe the Justin Fields route, who throughout the season was sort of everyone was saying he's the number two after Lawrence. And then it just throws off the teams behind them. Who knows? But I think it's unlikely. I think they're locked in on that guy.
Yeah, it does seem it.
Well, that brings us to the third pick, which obviously is the 49ers, which they acquired from Miami via Houston, I believe. Pick getting traded around quite a bit. Here, again, these guys are they're coming up for a quarterback. They must have their guy, and they must think that guy is not going 1 and 2. I think we've come to the agreement that it's probably Justin Fields, and that is, I think, probably a steal at 3 to get him there when I think he should probably go 2 as the next best quarterback. That being said, this again is one of those ones that could be one of a couple of guys here.
Yeah.
I've got an odd gut feeling about this, that the Niners are going to do something I think it's either. I think coming off of the most recent pro day and some of the throws he was making, Trey Lawrence was doing sort of the Zach Wilson throw that everyone was talking about. Showed I can do that as well. So I think he's helped his draft stock a lot there. But a lot of what I'm reading is that they're looking potentially towards Mac Jones as a lateral move from Jimmy G just with better upside. I think it's way too early to go Mac Jones. I think it's a massive gamble. Seeing how Tua's come out and not looked great.
Yeah.
I don't know. Risky one, but I'm not certain this is dead set Justin Fields. I think I wouldn't be shocked. I think it's definitely for a quarterback. They've obviously moved up, but I think it's a complete lottery of which of the three. But I have a funny feeling they might do something silly.
Could happen.
Yeah, but I have a weird feeling that Justin Fields is slipping a little bit here, and it ain't going to be him at this spot. But...
Yeah, you never know. You never know. But for now, we'll lock in.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is our number 3 pick.
Makes the most sense.
Yeah, exactly.
If they're here, it should be him.
And he should have gone earlier as well, in our opinion too. So,
Probably.
But anyway, moving on to the 4th pick, the Atlanta Falcons. We've gone for Patrick Surtain, the 2nd cornerback out of Alabama. Weak defense last year, sort of let him down. So we were sort of thinking, shore up that defense, that secondary, and get him firing again.
This is an interesting one.
Very interesting.
I think this is probably where we really start to diverge from a lot of other mock drafts, because there are a lot of mock drafts that have got them either going kind of edge rusher here. There's some that have got them going O-line. There are some that have got them going quarterback. I know Matt thinks they're going to go
This is where I
quarterback.
think Fields is actually going, personally. I think if he's sat there, he's going to Falcons. I've been saying this for a while now. I think Matt Ryan and them, they know. I think they're out of their window with Matt Ryan. And I think get someone who can sit behind him, start to put a bit of pressure on him, see if you can either trade one up before the deadline or just see how it flows. But I think the Matt Ryan era is closing. And I've been saying that all year. Yeah, and I think this is where they replace it, because I think it will just be 4 straight quarterbacks. But
he's Georgia kid through and through.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
I would be electric if there was 4 straight quarterbacks off the board. I'm not sure that's ever happened.
So when was the last time that happened? But I can't think of it at all.
I think the main reason is there isn't just that standout sort of Myles Garrett edge rusher that normally floats about and kind of takes one of those early spots. I think it's a slightly weaker edge class, just seeing everyone go, right, quarterbacks. Yeah. Which, we'll see how that fares in a couple of years' time.
There's always a couple that fail.
Yeah,
so you never know.
But I must say, though, I think Patrick Surtain here fills a need.
Does make sense.
Yeah. It makes sense, yeah.
It's the sensible pick.
It's the safe, sensible pick if they don't go quarterback. And at this point, with the way things have played out on the board for us, there's not a quarterback that I think is worth taking at that spot
at that
yet.
point,
So Patrick Surtain makes sense.
Stick with him, makes sense.
So now moving on to the Bengals. This is another one I think we went very back and forth on. I think it was another one of there's the sensible pick, and then there's the pick that I think is going to happen here. And we've got them taking Jamar Chase, receiver out of LSU, knows Burrow through and through. You get him straight on the field. There's going to be that instant chemistry, and then gives him an incredible core of receivers. The thing is, though, what happened to his knee and the amount of sacks he was taking last year, you'd think, go O-line, shore that up.
Yeah.
But I just have a feeling, I think it's purely just because it is Jamar Chase. I think if you take him out the draft, they don't go receiver. I think it's purely for that built-in relationship, and those two can play together.
Yeah, and he's fallen to the right spot.
Yeah,
exactly.
The kind of thing that I think if they didn't have Burrow there, they wouldn't even consider going Jamar Chase. But Burrow will be in that room saying, "Get me my guy," and that will be a hard thing to turn down, I think.
Yeah, I think as long as if Burrow's maybe, I think it will show his inexperience to an extent of maybe if he is in that mindset of give me my guy, the guy I played with in college, over give me that protection on the line that's going to be there potentially the 10, whatever years I'll be here. But could go either way still.
We shall see.
We'll
have to wait and see.
The Bengals haven't always been the smartest when it comes to drafting, let's put it that way.
No.
I think they tend to sometimes go for the flashy skill position in the first round.
John Ross, mate, was
exactly
what a pick.
You've been banging on about him for years now.
Rapid though,
didn't quite work out.
Rapid,
but jury's out. Jury's gone probably at this point.
So the next pick, Miami on the clock. Obviously just traded up again from Philly. Now again, I think this is another one that there's a couple of things. Miami are in such a good spot that they are loaded across the board. And I think we came to the decision again that there's probably a couple of positions they could take here.
Oh yeah.
But it's going to be really hard not to take Devonta Smith out of Alabama, the wide receiver. We'll have that kind of connection already with Tua. He's a real big play guy, just coming off of a historic season at Alabama. It's going to be hard to turn down and not put weapons around your young quarterback. when they've got a line that they overhauled last year that's looking strong. They've got a strong defense. They've got more picks later in the first round. I think it's going to be hard not to turn around and say, yeah, let's just take this insanely talented player here and look to other positions later.
Yeah, and the other thing about Miami as well, of course, they've got 2 picks in the first round, so they can't afford to make this pick here, and they're picking at 18 again.
Yeah.
So just a bit later, so it stacks up for them completely.
And that was their problem with Turf. Couldn't get points on the board. This helps to fix that massively.
Yeah.
Combination bringing in him, Will Fuller. That just sounds like a nightmare if you're a defense trying to like sort of pick out what exactly they're going to be doing. The O-line's already overhauled.
Yeah.
Go for the flashy pick.
Staying on O-line and moving to our next pick. Oh, loose reference.
Loose
transition. The Lions at 7, we have picking Penny Swell, O-lineman out of Oregon. And like Sam just said, still.
Dan
absolutely
Campbell,
still.
Jared Goff, they are dancing. They are
he's
loving this. Like,
fallen to 7, which isn't that big of a fall, but for a player like him, he should be going higher.
There's a lot of people that think that Penny Sewell could be one of maybe the second best overall football player in this draft in terms of talent. And to pick him up at 7 and to pair him with Jared Goff, who has shown in the past that when he's given a clean pocket, can be incredibly efficient and a really strong quarterback, it just seems like a no-brainer here.
Mm.
Yeah, and another no-brainer I think I'm going to next, the Panthers. I mean, this is a guy that could have gone I think he could literally anywhere from 2 onwards.
Yeah.
Because he looks generational. That's obviously Kyle Pitts, tight end from Florida. This is perfect for the Panthers. Like, it's somewhere they need to fill that gap that Greg Olsen left. There you go. Whether it's going to be Bridgewater or Darnold, have a guy who we can do almost anything with in this offense.
I think they enjoy.
It's hard to argue against.
Enjoy in the red zone. There you go.
He suddenly as well makes that offense one of the most dynamic in the league. 100%. When you've got Christian McCaffrey, who is your starting running back, you can play him on punt and kick return, can line up in the slot and wide out. You've now got a tight end who you can line up across the board. I mean, he can play wide out. And then you've got two really strong young receivers as well. They are so dynamic. And Sam Darnold, I mean, even if they don't take Pitts here, Sam Darnold's got so much around him here.
Finally.
Yeah.
He's got a real chance to show what he can do now.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're in a great spot as well, having Bridgewater, that safe, steady hand. So you can see what you got with Darnold, let him learn into the system, and then when you put him out there, if after a few weeks it's like, oh, no, we saw Sam Darnold at the Jets.
Yes.
Back in goes Bridgewater, but if not, perfect transition.
Yeah, 100%.
So next up, we are going to go to Denver.
Ooh.
Now, I think this is another one we should preface. Personally, I think there's a chance that Denver, there's some movement here that they,
maybe,
but like we said, we're going to stick with kind of this and no trades, that kind of thing. So we've got Denver taking Micah Parsons, linebacker out of Penn State, feels a need for them, really versatile player. And also, I know we discussed that Denver could be a quarterback needy team, and there are a lot of drafts out there that have them moving around and trying to take a quarterback. But I think personally, and I think we came to this conclusion, would be very risky from a keeping your job standpoint for Elway to make that move and give up on his quarterback at the moment. That was again his guy as just another failure. So I think they're just going to take a safe pick.
Yeah, they can't afford another QB failure. I think they've got to give Drew Lock in a bit longer because he has shown flashes last season that he really didn't. It went kind of the wrong way.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of injuries there. That O-line is not in a great spot. So like that's the other option here. Is I think they can't go quarterback. They've got to just double down with what they've got. Even though, like in ours currently with Trey Lawrence being sat there, that it must be so tempting for Elway. But I think you either go for linebacker, show up the defense a bit more. Maybe there's still some tackles about. Maybe they go that route with it. But I think it's got to be a more sort of foundation building pick. Someone that's just going to come in, not be a flashy skill position guy, but just fill a need and get a job done for him. And say to Locke, look,
this is it.
You've got to do it now. You've got all the weapons already. Come on.
This is your year.
This is it. Earn your job now. Or, sorry, mate.
You're done. You're done.
It's business. Can't do it, you're gone.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Interesting times in Denver. Number 10 pick, though. Dallas Cowboys. We've got going Rashawn Slater, offensive tackle out of Northwestern. Nice little pick up there.
Yeah, I think.
Short up that line.
Makes sense.
Yeah, protect Dak.
Their wing condition is going to revolve around the run game. They've got so many weapons. you need to be able to get that O-line back to where it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2016, 2017 when they went 13-3 and they were just beaten out by the Packers in the playoffs. They did that because they had the best line in football.
Yeah.
Get back to that.
Get back to that standard and back to your best, innit?
They know their blueprint.
Yeah.
Get it done.
Great pickup for her as well.
Exactly. So moving on next, we've got Sam's Giants.
Let's go.
Picking at number 11.
Somehow.
This is another one where there's receiver talent on the board that you could see him going towards, trying to really say, "Oh, Danny Dimes, here you go. Again, have everything, show us what you've got." I don't think that's what they do, though. I think that's what we sort of came to the consensus here, that Caleb Farley, cornerback out of Virginia, they need to shore up that defense. It showed signs last year of getting better, but not enough yet. So I think this is another pick, helps to shore up that secondary, bring them closer to it, because they've already brought in Golladay as well. So it's not like they haven't changed that offense. They've already done a bit of work there in free agency. So now shore up the defense, gradually start building something again over the next few years.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants don't reach a little bit here, and this is where we see Zavon Collins go.
Yeah.
Out of Tulsa, real gadget guy, can play linebacker, can play edge. He can do a lot, and I know it would be a little bit of a reach, but I think he would fit that system well. So that is one that I think could happen that would be worth looking out for.
You're big on that guy as well.
I do.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've heard his name like 20 times this
so
morning.
much.
He is all over the shop. He can do so much.
I think it was everything from 11 we first heard it.
Yeah.
It was almost every pick after 11. Like, Stephen Collins? How about Collins?
Yeah.
The Jacksonville,
really
could they
great guy
take
out of
him?
Tulsa. Collins?
He's so good. But we'll talk about him when he goes.
If he goes.
Oh, imagine.
I mean, he will get drafted.
Imagine Sam's guy just drops to like 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
We have a bit of a Laramie Tunsil situation come Thursday night.
Yeah.
You never know.
Christ, I hope not.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Anyway, rolling on next, we're continuing the trend of the NFC East, and we're going to Philadelphia, who obviously acquired this from the 49ers. And this is a team that have got a lot of holes to fill.
A lot.
And this is a really tricky one to call just because there are so many places they could go. But to take Jalen Waddle at 12, wide receiver out of Alabama, seems like a steal. Again, he could go earlier. There will be a lot of conversations as he will be up there as could be the first receiver off the board. But I think this is a nice fit, and Philly need receivers.
Yeah, I think this feels like the right thing. Give Hurts a weapon, give him a guy so we could actually got some decent on the other end of the ball. I think who they've got there now. Rager needs to see a full season out of him.
Yeah.
Obviously, that injury early on in his career, and without an off season, you can't expect
Hard,
a rookie.
Yeah.
So I think, but him alone, it's not enough. You need more there. The only other way I could see them going with this is something on the O line, because that O line is notoriously just not great and very injury prone. So it's very hard to pitch where the O line is because it's a revolving door, but not in terms of letting people through. I mean, it is that as well, but in terms of who's in the O line and where they're put out there. So I think they go with the flashy pick here and maybe try and shore up further down the draft, that O-line, but Waddle should make sense at this point. It's great value.
Yeah, and of course they moved around their pick as well, and they fit it as well, so...
I think if they really wanted O-line, they stay up at that pick.
Exactly,
and maybe trade back 1 or 2. I don't think they come all the way back.
Yeah, they might have had a shot at Penny Sewell at 6, and by trading back, they're effectively saying...
Not there.
That's not us. We think we can get... We can get more by trading back.
Yeah,
which screams one of those big 3 receivers to me.
One
of them's going to be there.
Yeah, another great receiver out of Alabama. So makes sense.
Powerhouse.
Yeah, man, it's very talented.
Making a lot of quarterbacks look quite good, I reckon.
Yeah,
definitely. Number 13 pick though, the Chargers. Oh, we've got them going. Chris Darrishaw, defensive tackle out of Virginia Tech.
Sensible
pick, yeah.
Protect Herbert, keep him standing, don't let him get injured.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Play it right and you got your guy.
Yeah.
He exactly.
It makes sense.
Herbert showed last year that he has everything that it takes to be the guy at the next level for the next 15 years. They're pretty set on defense. They've struggled the last year or two because of nasty injuries and stuff. But at the end of the day, when you've got Joey Bosa on your defensive line, you can surround him with a lot of averageness and you'll still have a good defensive line.
Yeah.
Keeps him standing.
All Herbert needs to work on, new barber.
Yeah, that was, very good point. Very good point. Okay.
That's who they should be
taking.
They
take a barber.
Take a barber, because that was a nightmare.
Chris Moore, barber, out of downtown LA. Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
Back to just where they accidentally pick up Peyton Barber in free agency.
Yeah, damn it. Drafted twice.
They got confused.
So at 14, we've got the Vikings. This is getting to that point in the draft now where I think there's a few guys that would have been dropping. This is a pick I could see them maybe moving out of, moving around.
Yep.
But there is some needs they've got. This is one of those teams that healthy can contend or be up and around that question. They know their win condition. It is Dalvin Cook. So we've got them going for interior O-line Elijah Vera-Tucker at USC, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Give Dalvin Cook room to run. Have someone creating gaps for him. That's how you're going to win games.
Yeah, play to win condition.
Yeah, they know
Build
how they
towards
win on this team, and it's Dalvin Cook all day.
Can't argue with it.
And that takes us on to the next pick in the draft, which is the Patriots. Ooh. And this is a really exciting one, I think.
Yes.
We've got Trey Lawrence, quarterback out of North Dakota State, going to the Patriots. It's a great fit, and I think the reason it's a great fit may be Cam Newton.
Yep.
Trey Lawrence is a big, strong, athletic guy. Fits the profile of Cam Newton really well. Gets to go and sit for a year or two behind a really solid professional, learn a lot, and on the benefit of Trey Lawrence, he doesn't throw picks. Yep. I mean, he literally does not throw picks. So it's a great chance for him to go and sit and learn behind someone of a prototypical build for him.
Yeah,
I'd love to clip that bit that you just said there. Does not throw picks.
Oh, that could be incredible.
That could be incredible, yeah.
Just every time he throws one, does not throw picks.
Does not throw picks. Does not throw picks. 20 picks in one game.
I think this is one of those that Belichick's going to be sat there like, perfect. This is exactly what we needed here. I think who knows what we're going to see from Cam moving forward, but you can't question the work ethic. So even if he's not that about mentoring, just from watching him, being around the facility with him, I mean, he's known as the first in, last out.
No, last in, first out.
So I mean, that sets, you know how Belichick's going to run that. Well, if the starter's doing it and you're my backup rookie, you're in when he's in, sort of thing. Just it's a Belichick pick through and through, I get the feeling.
Yeah, far out of
competition.
competition.
To get some receiver talent as well throughout this draft. Further on, I don't think that's another need.
Yeah,
but not one when he's on the board that they need to fill now.
Yeah, not early doors like they are now in that spot. But number 16 pick, the Cardinals.
Good luck with this one.
Here we go.
Jeremiah Owusu-Karamoah.
Solid effort.
Yeah.
Linebacker out of Notre Dame. To be honest with you, that name just completely stumped me.
Especially in his handwriting.
Yeah.
Not made easy for you.
We've got this board here for those listening at home or watching and
A's, O's, U's, it all looks the same.
It's tough to read off, so you did not make it easy for me, Sam. But yeah, Cardinals taking a linebacker.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Defense. The offense has got what it needs there. I think it's just all about now consistency. Defense, you bought in JJ Watt. I mean, that's a great addition.
Yeah.
So now keep strengthening that defense. It's young in places, so it needs mentors, and then keep the infusion of youth coming through.
Yeah.
Fill out this defense because you're going to need it in that division.
Yeah, I think Cardinals are a really interesting team because a lot of years when teams going into drafts, you look at them, especially teams in this kind of midsection, they usually have a glaring weakness, right? Yeah. So, for example, the Panthers last year, you came into the draft and it was like, right, their defense is terrible, and they picked 8 players in the draft and they were all on defense.
Yeah.
Cardinals, this could be a really interesting draft for them because they don't have a glaring weakness, but they're not quite there. So I think there's going to be a scattering of picks. And this linebacker pick, I think, is probably like effectively of what their needs are. He's the best available.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Makes sense.
So moving on now, at 17, we've got the Raiders. We've got them going Tavon Jenkins, O-line at OSU. It just makes sense. Their O-line has been overhauled this offseason. Yeah. I think if I'm Derek Carr, I'm looking at this pick saying, it's not there yet. You have not rebuilt this enough yet. I mean, they got rid of a lot of guys to bring in Kenyon Drake. I think essentially they freed up cap room, and that's where they've spent it. Like, this has been, currently I'd say, a dreadful offseason from the Raiders.
Yeah.
Start getting it right again now.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I definitely agree with that.
And especially the way that they like to play, and John Gruden likes to play, you're going to need O-linemen that are just down in the trenches, carving lanes for Drake, and obviously
Josh Jacobs.
JJ2K.
JJ2K. This might finally be the year.
I think it's more JJ1K now.
Yeah.
That split is not going to be favourable on him.
Yeah, that's a bit sad.
It's going to take a lot of fantasy value out.
Luckily, I don't have him in fantasy.
Yeah.
And I don't have Oh, wait, yeah, I do.
I
do. Oh, no. I just got really happy for a second there. And then I just realised what I said. Oh, I hate the Raiders.
Talking of running backs, I think let's move on to the next pick. We've got Miami at 18.
Again.
And again, they're just probably going to take best player available. We had a chat about this. They've got a whole lot of backup running backs in Miami and no kind of star of the show at the moment. So I don't think it hurts them here to take Najee Harris, running back out of Bama.
Makes sense.
Great player. Might not... I mean, some durability questions in terms of how big he is to be a bell cow, but they don't need a bell cow. Like we've said, they've got some really good backups there. And he's the kind of guy who can come in and he can get 10 carries a game, but all you need is one of those carries to turn into a 95-yard, just blistering touchdown. Yeah. And he does that 6-7 times a season, and you are more than happy with him. So really like the idea of them taking a back here, and Najee Harris is probably one of the two best in the draft.
Yes. Back-to-back Bama picks from Miami. I think just give Tua guys he knows, really try and build that offense into what Tua needs it to be. Yeah. I think they've already made coaching changes to give it a more college feel. So bringing two of the best skill position guys in college from the last few years.
And they're winning the first
Simple
round.
As that. With the defense they've got there, they don't need to spend any picks there. Overhaul dry line, like we already said.
Yeah.
This is just picking for fun to an extent and getting two very talented guys at their position.
It must be a nice position to be in for Miami.
Yes.
Very nice position.
Horrible if you're anyone else in that division.
It's
like,
Or Houston, and you've
Yeah.
Giving away that early pick.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, because we don't think Houston even pick, actually, in the first round now. So
they don't deserve to be in the NFL at this point.
Wow. Jesus. That's a bold claim.
Yeah.
Hold on, yeah.
Sorry, Houston.
You're dead to us.
They're going through a lot at the moment. Give me a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 19 pick, though, moving swiftly on. The Washington football team. Few conversations about a quarterback maybe here, and then we realised...
Big old Heineke.
Yeah, they just paid Heineke a lot, so quarterback probably not the answer. So instead, Baron Browning, linebacker out of Ohio State University. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The Ohio State.
That defense is already looking mean. I think this just adds to it. Just build around
Stack
that
it.
currently.
Yeah.
You can later in the draft. You do need some help at receiver. I think you need a guy.
Another guy.
Maybe look second or third. But for here, just get a strong defensive talent. Fill a need in that defense.
Yeah, and
that's your win condition.
Unless they try and do something bold and trade up for a quarterback, which I'm not ruling out.
I think it would make no sense.
Not after paying Heineke.
But they didn't pay
That's the issue.
Heineke silly money. They paid him backup money.
Bought in Fitzpatrick. I think if they didn't bring in Fitzpatrick, yes, they'd go for that in the draft. Because then suddenly you're going to have the three guys there.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't make sense to have signed both Fitzpatrick and Heineke to then draft the quarterback. I think maybe next year we'll have this conversation.
Yes.
I think unless Heineke plays like he did in that playoff game every week, then
it should be hard for him.
Who knows? Maybe they have got a guy there out of nowhere, but I just can't see him doing it. I think what it would cost to move up, because they're not going to be the only team trying it.
Yeah.
It would be
everything
idiotic.
The classic. What did it cost you? Everything.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. They're gradually building something strong, and they've just got to keep doing what they've been doing and building on
that defense mean.
Yeah, exactly. No silly mistakes and play smart.
Exactly that. So now the Bears at 20. Speaking of silly draft mistakes, they've moved on from Trubisky. I mean, gone to Dalton. Maybe they're a team that could try and move around. I think try and use Dalton as a mentor. I don't really know. This is a franchise in a very weird spot. But we know what they've been good at the last few years. What's been more their strong point is that defense. And I think now they try and build on it, strengthen the secondary. We've got going JC Horn, cornerback South Carolina.
Makes sense.
Not a flashy pick necessarily, but one I think is just going to help them get back to what they need to do. I think realistically they're not going to run up the score on teams. They need to have a solid, mean defense again. And just almost, we know how they win. We said it last year, it's disruptive football.
Yeah.
Easiest way to do that is have a really solid defense that people can't really throw on.
Yes.
This helps with that.
Massively.
It's this could be a make or break draft for this coaching staff. Having put their necks on the line for Trubisky and that really not pay off. And for the last, effectively 4 years, even with the terrible quarterback play, they've been in or around the playoff conversation. There'd be a lot of arguments to say, if you'd had Deshaun Watson in that spot or Patrick Mahomes, these are teams that are going to Super Bowls. So they need to do something to start bringing some playoff wins, otherwise they're gone.
Yeah.
Easy as that.
Essentially, it's a work smarter, not harder pick, innit? Because they've messed up so much in the past. And
I think
not
if
smart,
I'm the owners, and I've even heard rumour that there's like talking of, we're trading up, we're going to try and go for number 2 again, we're going to get Zach Wilson. I'll be like, no, stop it.
Play smart, play it smart, and
behave.
do the right thing.
We've seen how that pans out.
Talking of smart front offices, let's roll this on to the 21st pick in the draft. That's the Colts. I really like their front office. I think they make the smart move here. They've not got a lot of weaknesses across the board, but one of them is edge. And we've got Quitty Pyatt, edge rusher out of Michigan, going here. Bit of a toss-up, I think, this one for us, of the edge rushers available. Could be a couple of ways either way, but Quitty Pyatt probably just edges out some of the other guys on the board at this point, and it feels a need. These guys are potentially a really strong team next year, and Quitty makes them stronger.
Makes sense, yeah.
I think he's dropped a little bit here, I think, compared to where he could go. I think he is that guy that's a bit of a wild card for this draft. He could go up near that sort of early teens, or he could drop back to here. But I think it should make sense for the Colts if he's sat there.
Yeah.
They don't have a glaring need, like Sam said, so it's almost the best player available sort of pick.
But yeah, not a bad one.
Exactly.
No. Yeah, not a bad one to take. And sticking on the edge position as well. Number 22, Tennessee Titans. We've also got taken an edge player in Jalen Phillips out of Miami. This again, Sam mentioned it there, was one of the two that we were sort of flipping around either of those picks.
Yep.
Similar sort of story, isn't it?
Yeah,
whoever
could
the
go either way.
franchise's guy is.
Yeah, it's hard for us to call, isn't it? Unless we're in that draft room and we know who they think is going to be the one.
I'd love to be in there.
Yeah.
That's a life.
I bet it'd be really stressful.
Life goal just to be a fly on the wall, one of those like watching it in Moneyball.
I felt up near the top, someone who's picking around that sort of top 5, because that would be going off.
Bengals,
I'd love
Bengals would be electric.
I'd love to be involved in the Cowboys one, just because I think there'd be so many people saying, I think we should do this, and Jerry Jones going, shut up.
Yeah.
Well, no, you'd all be sat back at the facility watching him on his boat.
Yeah.
Sorry, yacht.
Yeah.
You'd have no say. You'd be watching it like you would at home. Huh?
Yeah. The Bears could be an interesting one to be in. Just seeing all those. Shall we do this?
Yeah.
No,
it's too
no,
risky.
not
No
again.
one wants responsibility. Everyone's like, anyone got any ideas?
We could do this. Anyone else agree?
Barry, you? Go on, mate.
Go on, Sam. You make the pick, mate. Yeah, we can fight after this.
You had a great idea on your lunch break earlier. Go on, tell everyone.
Put the cleaner's neck on the line.
Oh dear. But yeah, Titans, Jalen Phillips, edge at Miami.
Yeah,
Makes
glaring
sense.
need for them.
Makes
they were
sense.
terrible rushing the
That was
pass
their
last
problem.
year.
Yeah. That's their weakness.
Yeah, fix it.
So,
Fix it
moving
up.
now into the Jets. It's an interesting spot for him here. I don't know if there's necessarily the glaring sort of need, but I think it's one where you've got Salah. He's going to want a defensive guy. I mean, if people have dropped, this is another team I could see just moving about, maybe trying to get a few extra picks. They are in a rebuild, but we've got them going for Greg Newsom II, cornerback from Northwestern. I said, Salah's going to want a defensive guy. He's going to want to start to build a bit of what he had at the Niners here in New York. So
Makes
this
sense.
is where it starts.
Interesting as well. They traded from Seattle to get this pick.
Yep.
Which I don't know.
Ironic,
what the
really,
thought is
because
there.
if Seattle was at this spot, they'd probably be looking at similar position,
Yeah.
cornerback, safety, shore the secondary up. Two very bad teams against the pass.
I was praying they do that, so a bit disappointed they trade away. Oh, it's painful all season, that wasn't it? Blooming Seattle and a dodgy
Changes
defense.
fancy my guy. Who's playing the Seahawks?
Yeah, literally, yeah, that dodgy
A
secondary.
receiver against the Seahawks.
Well,
They got better, but they're still bad.
From bad pass defenses to just good defenses, we get to the Steelers. Obviously,
of course
a
it's got this
team
one.
that I was really high on last year. I think I'm still really high on this year. Really interesting conversation we had around these guys, just because of they could go running back, and we would like to see them go running back, but probably not a Steelers move. So we have got these guys going. Zavon Collins, linebacker. Tulsa.
Never heard of him. You haven't mentioned him.
No.
He's going to make a
God.
great defense better. He can play across the D line. He can play linebacker.
He can play quarterback.
He's
He can play
athletic.
receiver.
He's a little bit raw.
He can
Don't
be
get me
GM,
wrong.
he can
He's-
play
Put him
head
in the
coach.
Hall of Fame now.
He's
Get
raw,
that jacket on him.
but he is a good player with a lot of talent, and he will do very well in a system that develops defensive players. He will be very good here.
Yeah, I mean, good player. Versatile player. Makes a good defense better.
He's alright. Would prefer the running back at this point, but you know.
Boring pick. Moving on.
We love Zavon Collins, apparently. That is Sam's my guy for the rest of the season, I think. Although it's on the wrong side of the ball, granted, but I mean, lock him up. But yeah, I mean, running back, I think. Okay, that's my thing.
I
Should have been running back.
want them to, but I think it's very un-Steelers.
Yeah. Take Zavon Collins and
Maybe
move
if
on.
anyone's really dropping out of those sort of that weird Justin Fields, Trey Lance sort of category.
Would like to.
That was
they
a great
do
point,
need
yeah,
quarterback.
great show.
They
If
do
one of
need
them is
quarterback.
lurking around, let's say if one of them got past the Pats, could we see the Steelers doing something and going for a move, or do we think they're buying in for one last Big Ben run?
I don't.
I think if there's a guy there at 24, they might pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Cannot see them trading up just because again, it's not a Steelers.
Yeah.
They do have a cultural thing of we don't do certain things. I mean, they've had, in their entire history they've had like 3 head coaches. They are not going to change their approach, and I think they wouldn't have given Big Ben the nod of approval for next year if they didn't think they could win with him.
Yeah.
And let's face it, if they're not going defense, has to be running back.
I think that there is a chance as well if they go quarterback. It's Packers-esque. It's everyone gets to a conference championship game and they lose and goes,
why?
Yeah.
Why? You should have taken Zavon Collins.
Zavon Collins was on the board.
Sam, all the way from England, was telling you that.
Yeah.
Didn't listen to him.
When Zavon Collins is defensive rookie of the year, you'll be sorry.
If he's not, you have to name your second-born kid Zavon.
Collins, middle name.
What's the first one?
Lamar.
Oh,
And then it was...
I know, maybe it's the second
Brady.
Brady.
Brady,
So
yeah.
you've got Lamar, Brady, and Zavon.
You know what? That's not bad names. So...
You've got to hope they're all lads, otherwise you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You have to...
Oh no, Brady.
Brady could be
a
good.
girl's
Could
name.
work.
Lamar, less convinced.
Yeah,
And Zavon,
Yeah.
that's a hard one to sell.
Yeah.
As
But
a
yeah,
girl's
you
name.
take
I think you should.
Fine.
Yep, there we go.
So-
I'm putting
If he's not defensive
rookie of the year.
defensive rookie of the year,
Yeah.
your first-born son, child,
Child.
child, not son.
Yeah.
Good luck. Would be called Zavon.
Do it.
The day you find a
Ooh.
partner, and then eventually when it's announced,
Yeah,
you
we're
got,
gonna
you
have
got,
a really-
you got a kid on the way. I'm just gonna cut these 3 segments together and be like, sorry.
Yeah.
It's
By
going
the
to
way.
be a very difficult conversation.
Yeah, maybe find a partner first, mate.
Oh.
Anyway, number 25 in the draft. I said as a single man. Sat next to another single man.
Single man, reveal yourself.
Scotland's quite good for that. Though, yeah.
Scotland's very nice for that, yeah.
Great little away trip, that. Right, moving on.
I've heard Shannon Sharp loves Scotland as well.
you. Please, can we cut that?
That's staying right.
25, as I mentioned, the Jags acquired via the LA Rams. A young lad named Liam Eichenberg, offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. Oh, that's how it's pronounced. That's how it's spelt on the board there, Sam.
Yeah.
I love this pick. You've just got Lawrence. Protect him.
Yeah.
Like, you don't
Makes
draft
so
someone like
much
Trevor
sense.
Lawrence and almost do what we've seen in the old Bengals. You get your guy and then,
Yeah.
he's not protected. He's not got a knee lift now.
Yeah.
Like that, you see the scar in the photos of their new uniforms of the Bengals. That's
Yeah.
not what you want to see on a guy you're hoping plays
Yeah.
for you for 10, 15
And-
years. But I think here, do the smart thing. Protect Trevor Lawrence.
It makes so much sense,
think
doesn't it?
Simple as that.
Don't whiff on it.
The perfect case study for this as well is, let's go back to 2012, 2011, when Andrew Luck came out. He was the last player that came out that had this kind of hype of, this guy is generational, you are not going to find another one like this soon.
Yeah.
He came out, and guess what? He was incredible. But the Colts didn't put an O-line in front of him for 5 years. He got banged up. Okay, there was a nasty snowboarding injury. But there was as much on them for not protecting him for years.
100%.
And now he's retired, and they are wishing he was back. So, like Matt said, just protect Lawrence. You don't need him to be great the first 2 years. You need him to be healthy.
Yeah.
Exactly
Again,
that.
work smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Same thing
exactly
with the Bears.
that.
Makes
Exactly.
sense.
Now, Cleveland at 26. This is one where it's almost the best player available.
Yeah, it's got
There's a lot of different ways they could go with this. I think they're in a great spot. They could be looking receiver here.
Yeah.
I think that would make a lot of sense. Who knows where they're at on Odell, but I think they can do that later.
Yeah.
I think a position that they can't, I think it's not a great edge draft. It's not a very deep edge draft. So I think that's where they go here. They have just brought in Clowney, but I think between him and Garrett, it's a division where you need to be getting after the quarterback. So if you can have 3 guys to kind of rotate there and keep them fresh, that's what two better players to learn from?
Yeah.
A young edge rusher coming into the league,
Yeah.
2 incredible talents. So we've got them going Azeez Ojulari, edge out of Georgia. Makes sense, I think. It is just they don't have that massive need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just what's going to help them get near a championship?
Yeah, and this team could move around still as well.
Yes.
Be back, you never know.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
They're such a talented team at this point that I think at any point here, if you're taking the best player available at whatever position they think they need, it's the right pick.
Yeah.
So I think this is, funnily enough, one of the few drafts that it's going to be pretty hard for them to mess this up. Really.
Oh,
I can't
no.
wait to clip that.
Oh no.
Oh, that could be incredible.
It must be nice as well for Cleveland to be picking this late on as well.
Yeah, they're all going to be like, we're not used to staying
Yeah,
up this late
so
on draft
late.
night.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
oh my god.
Yeah, if you're a UK Cleveland fan, it's
Yeah.
like 3 a.m.
Whoa.
What is
I've
this
never
hour?
seen this in my life.
So, yeah, what is this? Oh dear.
But moving on to the Ravens,
Oh, yeah.
so AFC North still,
Another talented team.
and we're going to take Rashad Bateman, wide receiver out of Minnesota. Great player.
Just makes
Receiver, fills
Yeah,
a need.
I mean-
Fills a need. You've been weak at receiver. Brown hasn't. Hollywood's not really been the.
He needs a dominant number one opposite him.
Yeah, like Juju was back with
Yes.
AB.
Yeah,
Exactly
exactly.
that.
And he's maybe not lived up to the kind of dominant number one, strong red zone. I think Rashad Bateman will come in, complement quite well. He's a really strong player, and I think to get him all the way at 27 seems like a steal.
Yeah. I mean, that depth chart for the Ravens at receivers pretty poor. Apart from obviously James Prochet and Hollywood Brown, it's
Crochet season, baby.
Prochet.
How many balls did Prochet catch last year?
Doesn't matter.
We can in practice.
Yeah, I was just
It doesn't matter if the talent's there.
Okay.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's a matter of time. He's just
I'd say he's
biding his
better than
time.
Zavon Collins, arguably.
Oh,
Well, at
easily.
receiver, yes.
Much better.
And-
just generally, just football IQ, I think he's just a much better
Probably
player.
play off the edge as well.
Yeah.
And linebacker.
Roll on.
No, it's not wrong. Let's talk
More-
about James
I reckon
Prochet.
More likely to win Defensive Rookie of the Year next season.
Yeah, I'll name my firstborn son James if James
right.
Prochet doesn't
Yeah.
win Defensive Player of the Year. I think that's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Bateman wide receiver makes a lot of sense. So I'm happy with that pick as well. 28th pick though, the Saints. Gregory Rousseau, I believe is how you pronounce that last name. Edge out of Miami. Sorry, can't read Sam's writing again here.
Right, I can see how that might look like Missouri.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was squinting slightly as well. I didn't help myself, but
Well, what I tend to do is
It's a lot of letters for Miami.
I
isn't
tend
it?
yeah,
I tend to just put
That's
the
very
first
true,
letter.
actually.
How many
I tend
M's
to
is
just
that?
put the first letter and the last letter, and then just squiggle in between.
We can tell. We
Yeah,
can tell.
we-
I wish there was a camera here looking at the board just
Yeah.
so people can see the struggles that we go through when we have to read off these names. Yeah, you sip your water. You sip your water.
It's him trying to be tactical for Thursday when we say, Sam, that's not even the play you pick. He's like, yeah, you
Yeah.
just can't read it right. If you read it really closely.
Yeah.
I got all of them
Got a
right.
school line just to be sure. But yeah, this Gregory Rousseau edge out of Miami. It makes sense. I mean,
Yeah, I think
need, isn't
this Saints team's on the verge of having quite a few needs, but guys have restructured. They've kept a lot around.
Yeah.
They don't need to be looking at doing anything silly at quarterback. They got two guys to compete there. I think this is just they need to keep that defense mean.
Yeah.
In the division, this is their way to compete. So I think this is a great pick to do that.
yeah,
Then
100%.
probably in an interesting year where they're not quite in a rebuild because they do have a lot of talent there, but with their franchise guy having moved on, retired, this is probably less of a year of going out. I mean, obviously they're going to go and try and win, but for this year, it's probably a questions year. Right, who have we got? What have we got? And who is going to be starting at quarterback? Because this time next year, we could be saying, right, Jameis is their guy going forward. We could be saying they need a fresh quarterback. There are 3 or 4 scenarios in which their quarterback comes this time next year. So I think this year for them is about learning and, like you said, keep the defense mean to keep you in those games where maybe you're not getting the offensive production you have in the last 5.
Exactly that.
Agreed. Yeah.
So now Green Bay at 29. We all know how it went for them last year. Train wreck. I think there's a chance Jordan Love isn't on the Packers by the end of this draft, potentially. I think there's been rumoured leaks. I was involved in the Patriots, so that wouldn't work with our mock, but I think there's a chance that someone who can't get up for one of those guys maybe says,
Takes a punt.
let's take a try there, because I mean, all the reports saying that Jordan Love hasn't looked good. Hard to look good next to an MVP level Aaron Rodgers having his arguably best year ever. I imagine in training that must be a nightmare to look good. Who knows?
Could probably
But-
also get him quite cheap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, his value is nothing.
Maybe a
Currently,
third
so
rounder.
Yeah.
Easy.
So, we've got him maybe righting that wrong from last year. We've got him giving Rodgers a weapon he needs. We're going Terrence Marshall Jr., wide receiver out of LSU. This is a guy who's managed production behind Jefferson, behind Chase. That is 2 very, very good talents to still be producing behind. Averaged over 100 yards a game last year. Double-digit touchdown receptions. Sounds like something that Aaron Rodgers would love to have on the team.
Yeah, and he's great out of the slot, which is what they need. Like they've got deep threats in abundance. They've got fast receivers.
Yes.
They've got their big touchdown deep threat one of the best receivers in the league. And when you pair a good slot receiver with Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson did it for years.
Yep.
It goes well. So I completely agree with you. Great pick up here.
Profit.
Great pick.
Only other option here would maybe be cornerback. If some guys fall, if it goes differently higher up the board, we've seen that's another need. But I think they almost owe it to Rodgers here.
Yeah.
They've kind of
give him a hand.
Kind of have to.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So now we're getting into the real business end of the first round, kind of the last couple picks, the teams that don't have a lot of holes from last year. We're rolling on to the Bills, and I think the Bills, the way that we looked at this, there's a couple of routes. There's the really exciting route they can go, which is what we've decided.
yes.
They could go smarter and shore up a couple of other positions, maybe their secondary a little bit, add extra players, maybe add a little bit more to the defense. But that's boring.
Not for me.
Let's give them a running back, maybe the best running back in the draft. It will go backwards and forwards between. But we're going to have them taking Travis Etienne out of Clemson. Really dynamic guy. You can line him up in the slot. He's electric out of the backfield, and he is the kind of guy that makes any offense better. When we were having this discussion earlier, I kind of likened him to Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming out last year, in the sense that he's not just a running back. You can play him in the slot. And whilst they do have a stable of decent running backs in Buffalo, it's not the strength of their kind of offense at the moment. And even with those guys, I think Travis Etienne brings enough to the table that he's worth the pick. And they need to kick on and keep this momentum going if they want to crack on and make it to the Super Bowl next year.
I should say, he takes them to another level, doesn't he? So
that
makes sense.
Moss and Singletary weren't it last year, and I think that's something that if I'm the Bills, like we're in a window here, we're in a very strong position. Yeah. We can't afford to take that chance. I think this one they might do this later, but I think they definitely pick up a running back in this draft just to kind of shake those two up more than anything. And I mean, if you're going to try and shake them up, just bring in arguably the best back in the draft. Go compete with that.
There you go. Yeah.
Good luck, lads.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to own Zach Moss in fantasy. Or Singletary, potentially.
I own Zach Moss, so. Yeah. Not a good one for running backs for me this year, is it?
Could be worse.
Could be you.
Could be me.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Oh, in fantasy?
I don't think I've got a starting running back.
Right,
yeah.
In general, yeah.
No, yeah. No, and in general.
Oh, right. Yeah. Moving on.
All because you mentioned Saving Collins 15 times earlier.
Yeah,
it's turned into this.
He's a good player.
He's all right. Okay, he's all right. Number 31 pick, the Ravens, acquired from the Chiefs, obviously, in the Orlando Brown trade.
Yep.
That happened during the week.
At least you haven't got his...
Clever for the Chiefs. Filled a need.
Yeah.
And filled a need for a player that you're probably not going to get that kind of quality at this point in the draft. So I actually really like that from the Chiefs.
I hate it. I hate everything about it.
The instant trigger there. Just like...
So what is the point of me buying a jersey? Every time I buy one, the player moves on after a year. Flacco, Suggs, Old Thomas II, and then Orlando Brown Jr.
Maybe you need to start doing it intentionally. Like, get a player you want out of town.
I should have bought like 10 Perriman jerseys, and then he finally would have gone.
Either that,
put some respect on Perriman's name.
Either that, or the Ravens just suddenly go, "Oh, his jersey sales have gone up at 500%.
Let's sell him off." So I hate it. However, I do like that we've got another pick. And I mentioned to the guys as well that I don't know if the Ravens will be picking at this point. I believe that there could be a trade on the cards. Maybe with both our picks. Who knows?
Been excited to get one of the
elite receivers, potentially. But yeah, I'm doubtful that we will pick at this point. But if we are, Trayvon Moehrig, safety out of TCU, makes a lot of sense.
Feels a need.
Yeah, safety is a position of massive need for the Ravens. It's a weak depth chart at the moment, so he just goes hand in hand. It makes sense.
The guy's a ball hawk as well, and you know realistically what you're looking at is a playoff game against maybe Baker or Big Ben. Conference champions against Mahomes. We've seen him start throwing a few picks last year. Get you a guy like that who's going to make the big play, get the turnover.
Yeah,
simple as that.
It stacks out.
The Ravens also historically, and especially in the last 5, 6, 7 years, are maybe the best team in the league at bringing in defensive talent and cultivating it. So, in my opinion, it makes the most sense for them to go defense in the first round because they know how to take that and turn someone who's a bit raw coming out of TCU and make him a stud.
Yeah.
So I think, like you said, it fills a need, and it's what they do best.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Ozzie Newsom and now Eric DeCosta have had a history of just drafting brilliant players at random points, and I fully trust this would be another one. So it makes a lot of sense.
But I think those previous 2 weeks, so Bills and Ravens, is prime spot for if there's a team that either really wants one of those running backs, or maybe didn't get a quarterback the first go around and thinks, you know what, Mac Jones, let's get him in. We don't want to risk him dropping now into the second.
Yeah, it's prime panic.
This is prime, for teams to come and go, oh, we'll give you this. And okay.
Yeah, sure.
Which, again, I think maybe even Tampa fall into that at 32. But I think we're all in now. Future picks for us were like, the amount of avoidable years we've got in the contracts, I think we're going to be dreadful in 5 years' time, but we're going to be good now.
Yeah.
So, kind of moving on with that, give Brady another weapon. I think
scary.
If there's more,
another one,
if there was an edge guy who dropped here, maybe we look that way because we are getting a bit old in that department. But I don't think there's anyone that's good enough, and I think we take a little bit of a gamble here. I think we could look at, let's say, Kadarius Toney, absolute Swiss Army knife as a receiver. But I think we go for that exciting, electric kind of talent of Rondale Moore at Purdue receiver. When he's healthy, he's Tyreek Hill kind of dynamic. He's that quick. You get the ball in his hands, and there's a chance he just breaks it and goes. He's great on special teams as well, which we need. I think this is one of those picks that, unless we are really keen on bringing Antonio Brown back, which I think money-wise, this will make more sense, because I get the feeling AB, from what it's coming out as, he wants to be paid this time a bit better. Which, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
Who knows how he makes decisions. So I think we just go Rondale Moore here, get the exciting talent, give Brady a guy that he can just, if he needs to, little dump off to, and next thing you know, he's gone 9 yards.
He's gone, yeah.
No, I think that's a great point. And this, for me, when we were discussing Tampa, it was maybe the hardest one to pinpoint, because you look across their team and they don't really have any glaring needs, and you don't necessarily want to say, oh, just give them another weapon. But at 32, when you look at some of the guys that are still on the board, Rondale Moore and Toney and stuff like that, you just think, why wouldn't you? And it wouldn't necessarily even make sense for them to trade back for more picks, because what you're going to do, you're just going to get more of average players. If you can get one of these guys who has the potential to be a massive, you'd need 1 or 2 plays in the year for them to look back and go, yeah, it's probably worth it, because you get a touchdown at a big moment or something. So I quite like this pick, but I agree with you, it could be one of 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah.
Maybe even, I don't know if we do it here, but there's always talk of if a guy falls at quarterback, we take him to develop him. I would love to know which name, or if there's a couple names they're thinking of for that to be, because there's no way they could be thinking it's one of the main 4.
Can't be, not falling.
But then I can't also see him being like, Mac Jones,
Cole
Trask.
Those pictures of Mac Jones without a shirt on next to Brady. And people have said that apparently Mac Jones has an outrageous football IQ. Like, there have been a number of things I've seen that people were really surprised at how well he does with the whiteboard stuff, which, again, I don't think Mac Jones is a first-round talent in terms of what you see on the field. I mean, obviously, his film from last year is quite good, but you've got to take that with a pinch of salt from Alabama. But the second that you start talking about Mac Jones in the second round at 33 as opposed to 32, the second you put a second-round tag, it's always worth a punt. And what better quarterback to sit behind than Tom Brady? I mean, he's a really nice comp athlete-wise across to him, and if you really are an IQ guy, Tom Brady is one of the best in the game.
The GOAT.
Learn.
I think it's unlikely. I think it's more likely we try and do something around back of the second, third, if we're going to do that. But who knows? Maybe they're like, let's
just do it.
Mac Jones, Tom Brady. They look pretty similar. Go for it.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
It will be interesting to see where Mac Jones goes, though, because
he's the wild card.
We've left him out of our first round. But there is definitely a world in which, where we've left him out, he goes top 5, and suddenly everything is thrown off. So, really looking forward to seeing that.
Will not be shocked if it's Mac Jones to the Niners, Fields to Atlanta. I don't know
That'd
why.
be exciting.
I don't know why. I've got a silly feeling about it.
Cool, that'd be electric, wouldn't it?
I
just wish the Bengals needed a quarterback and go 5 quarterbacks top 5. That'd be amazing.
Well, who could Denver jumps up and goes, all right, Trey Lance at 5.
Or the Pats,
5 in a row.
Or Tampa.
Cole Trask slot. 6. Come on, please.
You never know. That's the exciting thing about the draft.
Never know.
And there's still Kellen Mond in the argument. I mean, Kellen Mond over Kyle Trask, I reckon. Got a better arm, I think. Has shown a little bit more in college.
It's not Zavon Collins, though.
Not Zavon Collins.
No, he's not Zavon Collins. I mean, I'd
nowhere
take
near.
him first overall.
Yeah, of course.
You know, technical difficulties aside, we'll be able to put out our draft reactions. So we can get that set up, figured out.
I'll be excited to see
see.
Zayn Collins just drop.
Yeah,
imagine.
Me just sat there like, oh God.
Why?
I'm never going to hear the end of this.
You know it. You know. I hope he doesn't go top 5 or something.
Imagine,
so painful.
They pull the plug on at like 8 or something like that.
No.
Actually, if he has to go early, I'd like it to be at 10 right before the Giants.
Yeah.
To Dallas, just because that's maximum for Sam if he becomes a good player.
I
called it.
Just missed out.
But it's with the Cowboys, not the Giants.
Oh, I'd hate that.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you skip on him and he goes
to Philly and then becomes an all-pro in his first year.
That I can support. I don't mind him going early if it's either of those two scenarios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting times. But that is all of our 32 picks in our little mock draft. Any winners? Any teams you think win that first round?
Panthers and the Lions are in very good spots.
Yeah.
Penny Seal to the Lions and Carl Pitts to the Panthers. That is
I think
silly.
Those two are kind of like the closest thing you can get to, along with Trevor Lawrence, the closest thing you can get to can't miss, I suppose.
Like Miami as well, though.
Miami,
they can miss, but I think Miami
actually, Devontae Smith and Najee Harris.
Yeah, I think
that's quite a nice combination.
I love that. I think for me, Miami winning the first round, based on what we've got there.
I think the Steelers with Zavon Collins is the only loser, really.
That's a big loser. Yeah,
that's the only.
Well, when you come out and they're the best defense, and Zavon Collins is defensive rookie of the year, and then you'll all be sorry.
Well, when he's not, and we get in 20 years' time, little Zavon.
Zavon Berry walking
I
around.
might just get a Zavon Collins jersey.
No matter what team
he's
at.
I thought you were going to say tattoo.
Oh my Lord,
that'd be even better.
No.
You can swap out, and you don't have to name any of your kids any NFL names, but you've got to get the words on your body somewhere.
Zavon, all of the names.
Yes.
Including his middle name, because I'm sure he's
in a heart, instead of Mum,
yeah.
I'd have Zavon.
Oh, full name.
Full
so
name,
Brady,
right,
middle name
middle
as well,
names.
yeah.
Right, okay.
So all like 5 or whatever.
I'm less about that.
Wait.
I'd rather ruin my kids' lives than mine.
Right, on that
note. On that bombshell, I believe that's all we've got to go for today. So as ever, be sure to head over to YouTube, go like, comment and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell as well. You know, I've had a few weeks off, but I still forgot about the notification bell this time. So
let us know what picks you don't like in the comments.
Yes.
Because I'm sure I'll be playing.
Let us know how high you think Zavon Collins is going.
Yeah. Also head over to Instagram and Twitter. We're at the Brit Iron. Go join the community over there. Go join the conversation. Both those platforms. But for now, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Yay!
Damn it!